Hi everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Dan Ashendorf, and today we're going to be talking about living a life full of energy and purpose. How awesome is that? Get lots of stuff done, make money, make good relationships, and live life to the full. But before we talk about that, 7 ways to lead a high energy life. Remember to join my Facebook group for daily tips and tricks to do with traffic, life, having fun, and finding your purpose. My Facebook group is called Internet Marketing. Does it work? And alternatively, you can write to me directly at daniel.ashendorf@gmail.com. Right, so let's talk about leading a high energy life, and we're going to be looking at 7 different steps. So the first one is to remember your why, because we need to have a purpose. We get up in the morning, we need to have a purpose. For me, it's my children, my family, my colleagues, my customers, whatever it is for you, you need to have a why, something that gives you that little bit of fire, that little bit of momentum to get you going, because you know it's all in the head. Energy is all in the head. We'll be talking about some physical ways to get high energy as well, but ultimately it all starts with the head. So remember your why. Is it your family? Is it a project you're working on? You're trying to extend your house, you want to go on that holiday, whatever it is, you want to buy that car. Don't know what it is, don't know what your why is, but I'm sure you've got one. Remember it, affirm it in the morning. That's your step number 1. Step number 2 is a little bit of spirituality. Now, I believe in meditation, in prayer, and affirmations. I've spoken about affirmations before, so they need to be written down, they need to be reminded of. But the thing is, once we affirm the future of our dreams, it moves away from imagination to reality. So we transcend the 5 senses. We imagine the world as we want it to be, and we bring it into our reality. So we do a little bit of this in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes. We either meditate, or we go over the affirmations, or we just play them if they're recorded, and they should be. Or we pray. If you're into this, whatever it is you do, give yourself a few minutes of spirituality. So that goes really, really well with remembering your why. And the two should really be interconnected. Then let's talk about something a little bit controversial, and that's cold showers. Now, let me just say from the outset, this is not something I do every day, but I certainly did it on a number of occasions, and I do it occasionally, but it does give you that massive jolt. So cold shower is supposed to be good for your immunity. It doesn't have to be freezing cold, it could just be lukewarm, but it certainly gets you into the zone. It gets you fired up, gets your blood circulating, gets rid of the toxins. As I said, it's good for immunity, and it's supposed to be very good for a number of other things, like for example there's something called autophagy, which is where the cells, body cells, get rid of any waste. That's autophagy, and cold showers are supposed to be really good for that. Okay, so at this stage we got out of bed, we've affirmed, we've prayed, we've spiritualized, we've had a cold shower, so we're ready to start the day. So here we go. We need to have a strong to-do list, and that's point number 4. So here's my tip to you with regards to a to-do list. First of all, the one thing that I do is in fact it's something I don't do, is I don't just write it on a piece of paper, because that's really awkward to carry from day to day. So I have a written to-do list on Excel, which I can just transfer some of the bits which weren't done onto the next day. But here's what I'd recommend for you to do to literally 10x your results, is to have one breakthrough goal in there, and I'll explain what that is in just a minute, and then 2 important goals, and then 3 urgent goals. So the breakthrough goal is something that is completely new, like I'm going to try a new traffic generating system. So I'm going to be posting my first YouTube video. I'm going to be getting on a new traffic type exchange, for example. So that's a breakthrough, because that's something I haven't done before, and that's doing these sort of things consistently on a daily basis is literally going to be transforming our business. The second thing I mentioned, which is to have two important goals, is to do the things which are important but not urgent. For example, talking on podcasts, which is what I'm doing at the moment. It's important, it's not urgent, it's not to do with any sort of deadline, it's just things which are important to me in order to be growing my business. So you must have things which are important but not urgent. And then the third one is to do 3 urgent tasks, and that's things like answering emails or finishing your sales copy because you got a deadline. So anything that's to do with a deadline, you've got people waiting for it, that falls into the urgent bucket. But if all you do all day is just urgent stuff, then you're not going to be growing. You're not going to have high energy, motivation is going to suffer. So that's why it's important to have a combination of the breakthrough, the important, and the urgent. Okay, so that's your 4th one. Let's talk about number 5, and that is to keep well hydrated. So research shows that drinking plenty of water keeps us mentally sharp, gives us energy, and it's just an all-round good thing to do, gets rid of toxins. It's especially important for me because I do intermittent fasting throughout the day, so I go for approximately 20 hours, between 19 to 20 hours a day without eating. So drinking plenty of fluids, especially water, is really important. Keeps me sharp, keeps me motivated, keeps me happy. What I do is I put a couple of slices of cucumber in it, or maybe I might even have, when I fast, a couple of slices of cucumber. Might put a little bit of I've gone off caffeine at the moment, but I might put a few slices of apple in my hot water just to give it that little bit of flavor. But whatever it is you want to be doing, keep yourself hydrated. Of course, alcohol doesn't count, so do not do that. But anyway, hydration is your 5th point. And then the 6th one is to exercise. Now that seems a little bit counterintuitive, because when we exercise we expand energy, don't we? So we don't bring it into our life, we expand, we get rid of it. But that's not the way it works, because we expand it temporarily, but then it comes back 10 times fold. The circulation is better, we just have more energy, and we seem to be happier as well. There's lots of endorphins floating around in our bloodstream. We're happier, we think sharper, so it's an all-round good thing to do, both strength exercising and cardiovascular. So that's point number 6, and point number 7 is to sleep well. Sleep well. Now this could have been point number 1, really. It really depends on how you look at it. So do we start the day bearing in mind that we've had a good sleep, or do we finish the day because that's the last thing we do during the day? Either or doesn't really matter. We need to be sleeping well in order to be having a high energy and fulfilling life. Otherwise it's just not going to happen. We're not going to be in a good mood. Our body doesn't work as efficiently as it should. We're not going to be very creative. So sleeping well. No caffeine after lunchtime. It's my number 1 tip for you. No blue lights 2 hours before sleep time. And if you tend to worry, then have a little journal, have somewhere that you can write things down before you go to sleep, so that you're not fretting over this, because your subconscious does worry, does think when you're asleep. So have a completely carefree sleep where you don't have to fret or worry or subconsciously think about anything that's troubling you. And if you've done everything that I've mentioned, so you've worked out, you've spiritualized, you know your why, you've had a cool shower in the morning, you're hydrated, you've exercised and everything else, you will be getting a good sleep. So hopefully guys, that's going to resonate with you. 7 steps to have a high energy life that's full of meaning and purpose and productivity and joy and love. Thank you very much for listening to me. Speak to you in the next one. Dan Ashendorf here, signing out. Take care. Bye.